All right, welcome in. Happy Monday. What a loaded slate in the NBA we've got going on here. And it's like putting the goddamn band back together here as the NBA tip-off show off running 24-25 season. And we've got, we got some old reliables here. We've got a couple of featured games we're going to break down for you. We're going to talk a total. We're going to have a same-game parlay by the one and only Andy Lang. And we welcome back the legendary Skee Prophet in the damn house, ready to roll here, gentlemen. It looks like nobody gets a day off here on Monday. Every damn team in action. So plenty to talk about here as we welcome you guys back in. But let's start, of course, with what everyone loves to hate. The Contrarian Gods back in action. We saw you guys on Friday. We told you New Orleans might not be a bad look. The Gods were correct. Tonight, well, they're looking at the Brooklyn Nets getting 5, taking on those pesky Memphis Grizzlies here. They just played a week ago there, Andy, and I believe the Nets had no issue dispensing of Memphis there, coming off a beatdown last night, the Brooklyn Nets, second of a back-to-back, but Memphis coming to town here, +5. How or who are you looking at in this one?
Oh, I love getting the points here with the Brooklyn Nets. One of the bigger revelations is that this Brooklyn Nets team is fun to watch. Like they're terrible defensively. They're a turnover waiting to happen. Just insanely out of control offensive possessions one time, and then the next time down they'll run this beautiful pick and roll for this wide open three. I find them fascinating. I actually think they're way better than we thought coming into the season. You mentioned the beatdown yesterday. It was just a poor shooting second half. I was actually watching that game. I had it on in the background because I was interested how they were going to do against Detroit. Yeah, Joe, they put up 25 points in the first quarter, 32 in the second quarter, then a total of 35 points in the second half. Just ice cold shooting down the stretch. And I'm not going to overreact to it. This is a Nets team that before that put up 120 in a win against Chicago, 119 in a win against Memphis. They took Denver to overtime, scoring 139 points. They beat Milwaukee, scoring 115 points. This is a team that's been putting up points. And Memphis coming off 2 nice wins against Milwaukee and Philly. But before that, they lose, giving up a ton of points to Brooklyn. They lose, giving up a ton of points to Chicago. They've lost, giving up a bunch of points to Houston. I'm not laying the points against Memphis. I think this Brooklyn team, they can get really cold in stretches and they can get really hot in stretches. Not only would I like to take the Brooklyn Nets +5, I would take them on the money line, and I would take their team total over 110.5.
Outstanding, Andy. And you know what else they are? They're 5-2 against the number, Skee, Brooklyn, so far this year. They've been actually pretty profitable, but it is the second of a back-to-back. It was a 13-point win that they had over Memphis a week ago, but still a lot of injuries on this Memphis team here. John Morant ready to roll here tonight, but is it enough to make you want to back the road favorite in this spot?
No, I don't have enough to want to back the road favorite here. I like what some things you said, some things Andy said, but let's start off with the first half, right? The Nets have been amazing in the first half. They've covered every single one, 7-0. The Grizzlies have too, at 6-1. Like you mentioned, the Nets usually keep it going for the rest of the game, 5-2. The Grizzlies just completely fall off after that first half. We've seen it a few times so far this season. And we saw it the last time these teams played. And it was a similar spot where Brooklyn was on a back-to-back. And you wouldn't expect Brooklyn to be the team coming back in the second half, but they did, and they won that game. So combination of knowing that they already did it, they're young. Until Memphis shows me they can put together a full 48 minutes, I have trouble, laying points with them in that situation. So for those reasons, I'll go with the Contrarian Gods with the Nets.
All right, looking to make it a 2-0 start to the year. A shout out to those of you joining us live here today in the chat room. Titan CT, Have Cash, Catch You Slipping, the old gang in the house, ready to go. If you're joining us here for the first time, thumbs up. That would be outstanding. Or hit the subscribe button and never miss an episode here of the NBA Tip-Off Show all season long as we get ready to talk about a featured matchup here, a couple of featured matchups, in fact, that I think are interesting. And the first one is the good old Houston Rockets taking on the New York Knicks, welcoming them in here. Knicks were I think opened up as a 3-point favorite in this one. We have seen some Houston money early in the day. I'm still seeing just about -2s in the marketplace here. Houston back to that slow tempo here a little bit. Skee, I'm wondering if this is more of a totals game for you, or do you think there's any value one way or the other with another home dog here tonight?
Well, I don't really want to back the home dog because they're coming off an overtime game and the Knicks are more rested. But I do agree with you. Just looking at pace numbers so far this season, you have the Knicks dead last, and you have the Rockets very close at 27th. So it should be, a slow paced game. Defensively, they've been all right. The thing that stands out to me too is neither team is doing too much on the fast break. Both top 5 fast break defenses as far as points allowed, and neither team allowing a lot of second chance points. So if we have a slow paced game, they're both good protecting a fast break and no second chance points. I would agree with the market. It's pushing it under. It's gone from 221 to 217.5. I think it's going in the right direction.
Yeah, I'm with you here. Kind of hard to look at both of these teams and thinking we're going to get some sort of wild up tempo shootout here. Or though, Andy, wouldn't shock me if there was a prop or two in this game, Karl Anthony Towns, that you or Albert Sengun, that you think might actually be worth backing here. Somebody is going to eat in this game, man. Who are you looking at?
Sengun, I would look at his assists. He's been really good with assists over 3.5. He's hit that a few games in a row. I believe he hit that in the last couple games against the Knicks. Miles McBride for the Knicks. He's gone over 1.5, made 3-pointers in every single game this year. If the market is right and if Skee is right about this point total dropping and that being the correct move, I think you might have to look at Jalen Green under 21.5. This guy is over lifetime against the Knicks. He's never gone over. In fact, he's never reached 20 points. So I know it's a different team. I know it's a different year. I know he's got more experience, but that trend really, really stands out. I mean, last year he had 16 and 15 in a couple games against the Knicks. So those are some trends. I can't say I'm going to get to the window on either one of these teams. I've not made one bet this year involving either one of them. I probably won't start today.
Not looking to start today. It's an interesting spot here. Certainly, I know a lot of people all high. Skee, you big on Cat in New York? We haven't had a chance. It's the first time we've had a chance to see you. A big Karl Anthony Towns fan with the Knicks. You like him with what you've seen? Because it looks like everybody and a mother's playing his point prop over here tonight. So expecting him to eat tonight against Houston. But what are you seeing so far from Cat that you like? You like the fit here?
Well, I do think it would be a great fit. And although I don't like that they had to get rid of Dante, I think he's a much better player and he can help them win a lot more than Julius Randle can. So the pick and roll game with Cat and Brunson, I think, will continue to get better. And they just have a whole lot of talent around them over there. So I like it for the Knicks.
Yeah, it's a lot of people excited here. I was a little worried about the depth, but, it is Thibs after all. We'll have to wait till at least the All-Star break before the team starts falling apart. You know that as well as I do there, Skee. So that is one game we're going to keep an eye on here. Knicks in Houston. And again, a big shout out, Big Daddy in the house. Always a pleasure to see there. Prop Vaults Labs on Instagram jumping in, say, likes the over 217 with the Knicks. Don't know that we're going to get there with that 217. Like Skee had said, this opened up 219 and a half, and it looks like the market certainly trending to the under, given the pace of both of these teams and a big push towards the defense. And it wouldn't be proper if we get Skee back on the show here in the opening week of the NBA Tip-Off Show. We don't talk about the damn Lakers. And the Lakers are on the road here tonight taking on Detroit. And Skee, I don't know. I thought there was value in this number this morning at -7. I think it started to creep up a little bit here. I mean, the Lakers are well rested. This is exactly the kind of game the Lakers usually feast on. I believe D'Angelo has been cleared. Looks like he's back on the court for him tonight. The Pistons coming off a tough one there, second of a back-to-back. It just feels all Lakers to me. Is there any reason why? Is the number too big for you?
Well, I agree with you that 100% is a Lakers spot. I mean, they're coming off 2 days rest, even though they, have been on a road trip. They're still the more rested team versus Detroit on a back-to-back. And I looked at that situation. Teams with 2+ days rest versus a road favorite, with 2+ days rest coming off of a road game. Long term, back to 1990s, they cover at 62, a little bit above 62%.
Oof.
So 1000% Lakers spot. I just have a little bit of trouble. And I have trouble because I've seen them, just like another team I think I talked about earlier, get out to good leads and then just give them up. And they literally just did that in the last game. They're up by 25 points, something around there, and they did not get the cover for their backers. Anthony Davis did talk about it. He was unhappy. So I think there will be focus to play a full game. If I'm playing, it's absolutely the Lakers. Better team. It's the spot. But it's tough for me. I'll lose two ways if it doesn't go my way. So lean Lakers for me.
Lean Lakers. I love very cautious but optimistic there with Skee, Andy. Did you catch that? Very cautious. I'm going to lean there, but it is only Lakers or passing this spot. I mean, listen, it feels to me like there is a transition going on with the Lakers from this is all about AD and him transitioning to be a guy. The dude's averaging almost 32 points a game, over 12 boards, Andy. It just feels like against the young Pistons team, he's probably a guy we got to look at one way or the other. But how are you approaching this one?
Yeah, 2 props in this one. Cade Cunningham over 1.5 made 3-pointers for sure. He's gone over in every game except the last one against the Nets where he didn't need to. He only made 1. He didn't need to. They just watched Brooklyn throw the ball off the side of the backboard in the second half the entire game. The other one is just going to be Anthony Davis over his rebounds. It's just rinse and repeat against the Pistons. His last 4 games against Detroit, 14, 16, 15, 16. They're not stopping him on rebounds. 12.5 is too low. He didn't go over against Toronto, but he only had 11. But before that, 13 against Cleveland, 15 against Phoenix. So Anthony Davis, big game rebounding. Cade Cunningham to make 2 3-pointers.
Cade Cunningham is shooting nearly 40% on the season from 3. I mean, he is shooting the lights out across the board, which is what we all thought he was going to do coming out of Oklahoma State. Remember that, Skee, the good old days? But it looks like the biggest issue with him is can he stay healthy long enough in order to be able to keep doing that? Because that's the biggest problem with him and this Detroit team because the team blows. I think they'll get better. But in the meantime, why not go with the hot hand? I agree 100% there, Andy. I think he's a guy we got to focus on moving forward, especially with 3 props like this. He is absolutely shooting the lights out for Detroit. Too bad they can't win a game. And they ain't going to win tonight, by the way. We'll just throw that out there. Skee is leaning. I'm a little more optimistic. Yeah, I'm just saying it's a little more optimistic. But feel free to make 5 threes there, Cade. We're good to go with that. No problem there. All right, so we've got a couple of other segments coming up here. We're going to talk our overtime segment. We're going to talk about a total here in just a minute. But also, Andy Lang's on the show, which must mean we have a same-game parlay coming for you. Andy, you delivered one on Friday for us. You got another one coming up here tonight. And what I think is this might be the biggest spread we've seen, certainly on the card here tonight, but it wasn't big enough for you, apparently. So what's going on with your SGP tonight?
All right. So those of you that have followed me know, well, I must confess something. Those of you who have followed me know that I despise like really big long shot parlays. I don't think they're healthy for the bankroll. I preach about it and I preach about it and I preach about it. So I came on here last week and I gave like a same game parlay that was like minus 135. And someone in my inner circle was like, you need to loosen the F up with these same game parlays. Like, calm down. It's okay to have fun with them. It's okay for people to have fun with them. Would you just fire off some Hail Marys when you do these plays? And I was like, yes, I probably should calm down. So instead of doing a same game parlay that's close to even money, let's go for 10-1. So I promise from now on, I'm going to throw out these big Hail Mary parlays. So let's take a look at the Magic and the Thunder. This could be a complete ass whooping spot for the Thunder on Orlando. Like, man, Orlando was their biggest question coming into the season was, can they score? And they were scoring at the beginning of the season with Banchero, and now he's out. And oh my, they put up 85 points at Dallas. They put up 109 points at Cleveland. They put up 99 points at Chicago. Who do they get tonight? By far the best defensive team in the league, in the Oklahoma City Thunder. So let's really lean into them getting crushed tonight if they have a really bad game. Let's take OKC minus 9.5 in the first half. So let's get them to get to double digits by halftime. Let's get them to open it up and really drop the hammer in the second half. Let's take them minus 19.5 in the second half. But then we need a piece that's really going to set this thing off. Let's take Jalen Suggs to make 3 or more three-pointers. In his last 2 games, he's not been good. 2 of 12 combined. He's in a little bit of a slump. But if they're down and he needs to fire away, look at what he did the 3 games before. 3 of 9, 6 of 13, and 5 of 13. And 2 of those games were in losses where they were trying to come from behind. So let's take OKC to really, really get up big at halftime, get up big by the end of the game, but Jalen Suggs to hit 3 3-pointers, and that gets us to 10-1.
All right, so I am not ashamed to admit it, Andy. When you sent this over, I already went ahead and played it. I mean, Skee, call me if I'm absolutely crazy here, but where in the hell are the points coming from Orlando? They're the worst three-point shooting team, and not for nothing, but this defense of OKC, Skee, they ain't messing around in any way, shape. Forget about the offense, just the defense has been over the top here. It's kind of hard not to look at OKC and see, yeah, it's the biggest spread of the night, but it's probably going to be the biggest blowout, no?
Yeah, I could understand that for sure. The defense last game wasn't as good as it's been all season, but they still won by a big margin. I think that last game was the only team they let get over 104. So I think you can name their number. Without Paolo over there for Orlando, is going to be a lot of struggling. I like the Suggs prop because he's been doing well lately. We'll see. Hopefully, he can get those 3 threes for him. But OKC to win by 20 plus, I don't think that's too far out. I think that can absolutely happen.
Woo! Woo! We are going alternate market here on the show. You see what you started, Andy? You see what you're doing here? We blame Andy Lang for this shenanigans over here. Titan CT in the house. Catch you slippings like OKC 26 plus. I don't even know if that's in the alternate market, but I like where you're going. Is that in there, Andy?
Hey, yeah, Joe, we hit that prop. The last time I was on the show, DraftKings has a prop, and it's in every game. Will the largest lead be 26 or more points? If you think a team is just going to absolutely crush a team, the Celtics do this all the time. The Celtics get up big on teams. The Cavaliers have done this many times. So yeah, that's a pretty good prop in this one. I could see a 30-point lead in this game if Orlando can't shoot, for sure.
I love the way you're thinking there. There will be games like this every now and then on a schedule where it's going to be so one-sided and dominant. Why not in this spot here with OKC tonight? All right, we have got coming up here and exactly Prop Vault Labs there on Instagram talking about he loves OKC to jump out early and often. Orlando, maybe a first quarter and a first half bet. Not a bad look either there. But we do have a total game in our overtime segment we're gonna mention here, and well, why not? It was the highest total on the board, and it was bet up a little bit. 236 is what I saw when Indiana and Dallas opened up. I'm seeing 237 and a half popping up, and yes, we get it. Why not? We know Indiana going to be a little short on defense, not short on pace. Skee. Dallas did not have to play anybody long minutes last night. They beat the living snot out of Orlando, so it wasn't really, I'm not worried about them being able to jump out here tonight. Is the number too high for you? Is there any value in the under, or is it just an over or pass spot in this one?
No, that's over or pass for sure. I agree with you. Luka played 31 minutes. Nobody else touched 30 minutes. So not a taxing game last night for Dallas. I think they'll still have a lot left in the tank. Just looking at how, or a couple ways these teams match up. Mavericks, they're a good rebounding team. Pacers are dead last as far as, offensive rebounds allowed. So second chance points, they're number 5 for the Mavericks. And obviously the Pacers are at the bottom. So if this game is played with pace, which it should be, as far as what we've seen from the Pacers lately, we'll either get quick baskets or the shots that the Mavericks are missing, they'll get second chances to put them back in. So I think that bodes well for an over. Last season, this Pacers team totals were like, what, 240 something, 250s even.
Yep.
I think they'll get back to playing at that pace and getting to those high numbers. So I think you buy low now before it gets there. I don't think it's too big of an ask.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100% here. I think it's maybe even a team total mixed in somewhere along the line, Andy. But when you get a total like this, there's got to be people scoring these damn points, aren't there? So where are the points coming from here? How are you approaching Indiana and Dallas tonight?
Let's have some fun. Let's take a look at the under. I'll make a case for the under
Ooh!
in this one. Yeah, listen. Defensive rating. We talked about the Thunder. They're number 1. Number 2 is Golden State. Number 3 is Dallas. Dallas has really, really played great defense. Look at the totals of their games, the last couple games. 108 to 85 against Orlando, nowhere near this total. 108 to 102 against Houston, nowhere near this total. 110 to 102, that was against Utah, nowhere near this total. And then San Antonio, 120, 109. Those are their home games, and this is another home game for them. The Pacers, listen, you guys know I watch them. They're clunky right now. They're putting up decent points, but I can't say this is an organized offense. I don't want to say too many chefs in the kitchen, but they got to figure out who's the man. Is it Siakam? Is it Halliburton? Recently, it's Mathurin. So they're really kind of struggling to figure out the identity. I think they'll get there. The amount of pieces that they have with talent is too good to be ignored. It's just going to take a little bit of time. As for a prop, Pascal Siakam over 3.5 assists would be the way I would look at it. He's had 4 or more in 5 out of 6 games this season, and he did play a game with the Pacers, I believe, last year against Dallas where he had 6 assists. So I'd look at Siakam, but yeah, I would be nervous about this total just because I've been really impressed with the defense that Dallas plays. They've really stepped it up in that category.
Yeah, Naismith and Nembhard, I believe, or it looks like Naismith's been okay. Nembhard's still questionable. So is Miles Turner, I'm seeing. Kleber and Exum out for Dallas. So from a health standpoint, nothing really scaring you for an under on that. Andy, is there, or anything scaring you about an over there? 237, and they're saying in the chat room, I know Titan CT is like, damn, 237 is a lot of points in this game.
A lot has to go right. What do you do? It's just sit Nembhard. Why? It's barely November. What are you putting? What are you putting? The 76ers are resting their 2 best guys for the first 2 weeks of the season. You can't let Nembhard's knee heal up a little bit. Don't play Nembhard, please.
And the Skee, I'm also seeing. Yeah. I just want to throw it out because it's been mentioned a couple times in the chat. 117 is the first half total, Skee. Do you think if it goes over early or rather than late, or how you thinking?
Well, you'll get an answer in a segment coming very soon.
Oh, good.
For
very
that first
good.
half total. But as far as, I just wanted to comment on Dallas defense. Are they good? Yes, they are good. When I'm looking at what they're doing this season, I mean, let's look at who they've been playing. Orlando without anybody. Houston, I mean, Utah, Spurs. Are we really that excited that they were able to hold these teams down? I don't think so. So that's all I wanted to say. I do think they are a good defensive team, but I'm not impressed by the opponents that they faced.
And listen, 2 weeks into the season, and there is absolutely something to be said about that, because you're right, kind of like heading us down a wrong direction here, giving us the perception of what they are in reality against better teams. could be a whole different thing. By the way, that is what you call a tease in the industry, people, as Skee just kind of gave you a hint as to maybe where that best bet of his is going to land and in what game there. But before we do get to a couple of best bets here, guys, if you're joining us live, big shout out to those of you guys in the chat room. We certainly appreciate you coming by. Hit that subscribe and like button if you haven't done so already. We certainly appreciate it. I know it was Joshua John, likes the Pacers on the money line. He also points out Pacers 4-1 against Dallas on the road. And yeah, they've got certainly over the last couple of seasons, they've had their number here. We'll see if that continues tonight. But we do have a couple of questions coming in. And Skee, again, it's only fair if I bust your balls about the Lakers. And unbelievably enough, I'm on the Lakers and you're wishing me luck with that. So that's a whole different change here. But also, I saw the question come in. I got to talk. It's only fair to talk about my Miami Heat, who have Sacramento. Both teams, I think, were out of the country. I think Sacramento was in Canada, I think, playing Toronto, if I'm not mistaken. And then Miami was playing Washington in Mexico City there. So now they're both in South Florida and Miami tonight. It's a damn pick 'em price here, Skee, but I don't know. I believe Miami's got some shocker injury or depth concerns right now. Sacramento appears to be fully healthy, and now Sacramento seems to be laying one in South Beach, something we're not used to seeing. I don't know. Do we trust Miami at home in this one tonight, Skee?
It's nothing I'm going to have my money on. And honestly, it's a game that I might be a little biased against the Sacramento Kings team. I don't think they're that good. And the Heat, I know they haven't looked like most people might want them to so far, but I do think they can get the job done out here at home. They've been a better defensive team, and I want to say they're the better rebounding team. So I'll lean Miami. I don't have anything strong on this. With 15 NBA games and college starting today, I had to limit the amount of games that I could deep dive on.
Yep. And of course, the usual, we're starting to see we've got a ton of, and I believe it's Nathaniel. We appreciate you stopping by. Skee, a whole bunch of what's ups going on across the platforms here for you. Also, everyone seems to think that it's Boston by 1 million again here tonight against the Atlanta Hawks. It is double digits. I believe, Andy, Jaylen Brown is out in this game, but does it really friggin' matter? Atlanta's playing no defense one way or the other, and it would just appear that Boston is not interested in what you think about them. They are just going to run you over one way or the other here. Kind of hard to run to the window on the road and lay up. Atlanta always gives Boston a giant pain in the ass time, no?
Yeah, it's kind of like the Pacers, how the Pacers just randomly always play great against the Celtics. I mean, the Celtics are just straight boat racing people, and then they'll stumble against the Pacers, or stumble against the Hawks here. I saw that. Was it the other night? Yeah, Boston first half team total over. This is one of those plays where you kind of just play it every night. You kind of play it every night, and actually you may wait until Boston maybe goes 2 games in a row without hitting it, because when they get going in the first half, those starters are just on fire. I mean, they put up 68 points in the first half against Charlotte in the last game. Oh, but not to be outdone, 71 in the first half before that. I believe the first half total is 62.5. It's one of those props you kind of have to play night in and night out. So I would play it again tonight. If it doesn't hit, you go right back to it until you go on a string of like 3 or 4 in a row. I find this Boston team tough to pick player props on. It could be a Tatum night. It could be a Brown night. It could be a Derek White night. So I don't find very much I don't find a whole lot of consistency with some of the guys, and that's what makes them a great regular season team. They're not completely 100% dependent on one guy to be there every single night. So stick with the team and go first half team total over.
Skee, what is your? I mean, the Celtics are so friggin' overvalued in the market. It's kind of crazy here, but they are 6-1, and 5 of those 6 wins are coming by at least 10 points. So it makes sense that they should be laying 10 points, but no Jaylen Brown, or I guess the Atlanta is so banged up now because the total is falling too. The total opened up at 234. I think now it's 231. So money's coming in on the under and correlate to a double-digit favorite. I know it's the Celtics, but man, does that feel like a big number.
Yeah, I would not look at this from a spread perspective. I would agree with Andy. Look towards either first half, full game team total. I mean, we know what the Hawks want to do. They want to play up tempo and play absolutely zero defense. And the Celtics, they can score on anybody, even if you're playing defense. So it's a one-way ticket for me. I don't know how much I trust Atlanta to score on the Celtics defense. That's the only question mark for me. So I would choose the Boston side of it and just go with the team total if I'm playing this game.
It's funny, Andy, I'm seeing a lot of people looking to fade Trae Young tonight, 28.5 points. And there is nobody else who can shoot. So to Skee's point, that defense of Boston, all they got to do is shut down Trae Young, and where the hell are the points coming from? They'll throw everything at Trae and not let him beat him.
Yeah, absolutely. Here's the thing, though. Trae just seems to get there. He's gone over in 5 out of the last 6 games that he's played Boston. So, and it's one of those, like, if Boston is up big in the third quarter, you're going to see a lot of garbage time, and those points still count for sure. So I would lay off of the Trae Young under.
We shout out to Uncle Ty there. It does say Hawks plus the points, but he did leave his nuts hanging out and chose the money line. So kudos to you, Uncle T. We appreciate you stopping in here like that to share your nuts play with us. All right, let's talk some best bets here, gentlemen. A loaded slate across the board here tonight. We gave you a little tease a little bit earlier. So tell us, Skee, kick us off with the first best bet of the NBA Tip-Off Show season here. We're going to Dallas and Indiana. That much I got. But what are we looking at for a best bet here?
Yeah, we'll look at the first half of this game. And I want to point out, first of all, the last 2 times they played, the totals were 247.5 and 252. Those are the kind of games that we expect those are the only 2 times they met last season. That's what we expect from these two. Now, the reason it's lower is because of how Indiana looked to start the season. They were not playing with the same pace that we're accustomed to. And as a result, they didn't look as good. So after the first few games, you listen to them talk. Rick Carlisle says, we're working through things. We want to play faster. We want to play with more aggression, more speed, urgency. He says, so far we've had some challenges. We just got to continue to work through them. Then you hear Obi Toppin talk. He says, it's the first 3 games. We're going to get back to playing our kind of basketball. We have great coaches who are going to keep us in line. Since then, you've seen nothing but pace, and over type games. They've cleared 120, I believe, in their last 3 games in the first half. So I think they'll get back to the old way the Pacers play, and they'll continue that from now on. I think the totals are going to be low-hanging fruit in the near future, and I'll cut this one in half simply because Dallas played yesterday, but I'm not mad at the full game because like we talked about earlier, it wasn't a very taxing game for Dallas. So my best bet for the show, I'll go Indiana, Dallas first half over 117.
I love that. Yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I'm with you, Skee. I think we go back to seeing many more paces. And I think the guy in the chat room, I think it was Joshua in the YouTube Shorts chat, had mentioned 4-1 against Dallas. They're not 4-1 against Dallas as a road team by slowing the damn pace down. So I don't know that we're going to get that here tonight either. And I'll ask you quick before your best bet there. Andy, there does appear to be some love for maybe a Kyrie Irving over 3s prop here because I think he only had 2 of them left, but he didn't play. He didn't need to do anything, but he has been lighting it up from the outside. Kyrie, maybe a little bit of value here over 1.5, maybe even 2.5 3s tonight against Indiana.
Your guess is as good as mine with Kyrie. He went 6 makes, 5 makes, 1 make. He as a kid, you had those bouncy balls and you'd bounce them off the concrete and it'd just fly up and go wherever. That's what it's like betting on Kyrie props. It's just like you throw your bet down, it bounces up and you have no idea where it's going to land. No, I will pass on Kyrie props. Thank you.
Not a Kyrie fan, guys. I just want everyone to mark that down. Their little black book here.
fan of watching him play basketball. I'm not a fan of betting on him.
You have hated him for the last 2 seasons rolling as, yes, there he is. He is bent out of shape because he cost us all nothing but money last year in the playoffs. But there is a guy that you are going to focus on here tonight that you like as a best bet. So lay it out for us, man. Who are you looking at?
Okay, well, the gambling gods have been have rewarded the audience because I'm going to give you a best bet, but I think the line has just changed based on some player news. So I'm going to the Golden State game, and I was looking at Andrew Wiggins over 1.5 made 3-pointers. He's played 4 games. He's gone over this in every game. I think this just moved to 2.5. So he's had 4, 2, 5, and 2. And they're playing the vaunted Washington Wizards defense, who's 20th in giving up 3-point points. If you can find 1.5, go ahead and play it. If you look and it's 2.5, go ahead and lay off of it. So let me give you another one. We're digging deep into some really good hold here. Go to the Sacramento Miami Heat game, Joe.
Ooh.
Bam Adebayo, okay? Bam Adebayo has played the Sacramento Kings 13 times in his career. He has attempted in every single one of those games, in all those games combined, he's attempted 1 3-pointer and he missed it. And you can get his under half a 3-pointer made for minus 148 tonight. This is a man that is 0 for 13 for making 3-pointers in his entire career against this team. He doesn't shoot them against this team. There's a chance he plays 35 minutes and doesn't even attempt a 3-pointer. He's coming off a game where he made 3 3-pointers. He's coming off a game where he made 3 3-pointers against who, Joe? The Washington Wizards, because that's what people do to the Washington Wizards. So this is just one of those fascinating threads. I am 5-0 in NBA best bets, and my very first bet of the season was Bam Adebayo to not have a 3-pointer against Orlando. That's another team that he hasn't made a 3-pointer against. So you're getting great numbers on Bam because last year in the second half of the season, Bam was shooting a ton of 3-pointers. And guess what? He's not shooting that many this year, and he's not making them, especially against Sacramento. So I would look at that one.
I love that because they did make it, especially in the preseason. They made like this big effort. He wanted to get better. They wanted him to shoot more threes. He was doing that in the preseason, and except for Sacramento, where he gets absolutely no threes off and makes no threes. So I love that with it. It'll be interesting to see how much more of that we are going to get here because if you got to rely on Bam making you threes, we're screwed, Miami. We're screwed. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes. You know what's going to unlock the championship potential is Bam shooting up threes. And by the way, his game against Washington, where he went 3 for 5, in his 4 other games combined, he's 0 for 6. That was the only time he made one. This is not a good recipe for success.
I love that. All right, before we get to what you guys have locked and loaded, Skee had mentioned it earlier. I mean, you got 700 games in the NBA, 900 games in college basketball, mixing a Monday Night Football. We got a few things going on here in the sports landscape. But Skee, I am being told here that we want to get a new segment with you on the show this year called the "Oh, hell no, I ain't betting that team." So there has to be, in 2 weeks here, there's got to be a team that stands out to you that's on the hell no, no way Skee list here. I want to say it's the Clippers. I'm not sure if you're there yet, but so far through 2 weeks of the NBA season, is there a team you are looking to avoid big time here so far?
I think it's a little bit early to just count anybody out for sure. But I'll say this. It's extremely tough to back 2 teams that come to mind. One is going to be Milwaukee. They just don't look good together for one, and they don't have good coaching. I don't have to continue to bash Darvin Ham any more than I already have, and we know how I feel about Glenn Rivers. So it's tough to back that team for me. And Utah, I mean, this looks like a team that's going to be going towards rebuild. Probably marketing and getting traded towards the deadline. So those 2 teams are extremely tough to back right now. Not quite hell no yet, but extremely tough.
Well, not for the chat room because they've added a few other hell no no, we ain't betting them on the list here, including the Denver Nuggets by Javi Cash going, hell no, I ain't betting the Denver Nuggets. And also Charlotte is making the rounds here, Big Daddy. But I think Charlotte might be a little bit more competitive this year than last year. So I don't know that I'd throw them on the hell no list, but you also can't bet New Orleans if nobody's going to play. I'm just going to throw that out there. New Orleans, try to mix in like an ice bath and do some stretching or something. Jesus Christ, get the guys back on the court here already. Skee, talk to us, man. You gave us our best bet here tonight in the first half with Dallas and Indy, but what do you got for the clients locked and loaded over at WagerTalk?
Yeah, I do have. Well, I have a little bit of everything, depending on what sport you like. I am up in college football. I don't make a whole lot of big plays. They're small plays usually, but I did make a play for this coming week. And then college basketball, I also have a play for today, locked and loaded. And NBA, that's the $5 Tuesday play. Another play that I really like quite a bit. So NBA, I would, I'm transparent all the time. It was a slow start, actually going backwards so far this season, but we'll continue to pick it up. Over the last 3 seasons, even with this bad start, we're up over 215 units. So it's a good time to get on board because we're going up from here.
I love it. I'm just looking for Long Beach State's total here. Never mind. I digress here. Let's Andy, what do you got locked and loaded over at WagerTalk for us tonight?
I will tell you, with college basketball, Joe, I found an article where somebody ranked the worst teams in college basketball, not the best teams.
Ooh.
They just went like bottom of the barrel. And the worst, they had Mississippi Valley State. And I see Mississippi Valley State is like, I think they're 40-point underdogs against Iowa State in their opener. So I'm excited to watch that game and see if someone can cover the 40 points to kick off college basketball. What do we have up? Well, I don't put up a lot of NBA plays. We've only had 5 this season, and we've hit all 5 of them, and we have a 4% best bet that is up tonight. That play is on a 4-0 run to start this season, and we are 5-0. We also have a Monday Night Football best bet that is up. Swept the board yesterday, 3-0, and that is 6 straight winning weeks in the NFL. So having 2 plays up on a Monday is kind of a lot for me generally. So 1 4% NBA, 1 3% NFL. We're looking to kick this week off with some more momentum. We're up 163 units, all sports. We're closing in on that plus 175. That was the mark we set for ourselves, and we're almost there.
Mississippi Valley State, Andy, let me just tell you, they would definitely be on the hell no, I don't give them 100 points. Hell no, we ain't giving them none of that. Absolutely not. So Mississippi Valley State is always 1 bet and 1 bet only, and it's an over, mostly by the other team. So whatever that total is, it ain't enough because they run up and down the court, throwing brick after brick, and they play no defense. Every game is an over for whoever the other team is that they're playing. Real Marty B, by the way, over on TikTok. Shout out. Jaylen Brown is not playing tonight, so it is just Tatum. I know you were thinking whether or not Tatum or Jaylen Brown would go the distance in this game. Brown has already been ruled out, so it is just Tatum in that one. And I will let you know, though, as a pretty good segue there, that the college basketball show will be making its return next week. In fact, given a week to get everything all together here, kind of get a look at some of these new look teams with over 70 new coaching staffs around the country this year in college basketball. No more Kentucky with Calipari. It's a whole new look across the board, but I will say this. Don't be shocked if the Zags come out swinging tonight and step all over the Baylor Bears for your late night degenerate special out in Spokane, Washington there. 11:30 tip, Andy. What the hell is that? 11:30 Eastern time tip. Welcome to Gonzaga basketball here. And yes, Big Daddy, we'll be ready.
Do you stay up for that one, or do you just try and go to sleep, catch a nap after the football game, and wake up?
Yeah, well, since I got to do the morning show on Sports Grid at 7 o'clock in the morning, my ass will not be up watching that game, but all I'll do is wake up at 5:30 and look at the account. And if there's money in it, then I know the Zags handled business there against Baylor tonight. laying the 5.5. All right, Big Daddy, we're going to go head-to-head here tonight. We'll see if experience versus youth wins out in that battle there. Andy, we appreciate it. Always a pleasure seeing Skee Profit. Guys, welcome back to the NBA Tip-Off Shows. New season is upon us. And, of course, just for those of you guys joining us for the first time, subscribe, hit that like button, guys. We certainly appreciate you joining us. Keep in mind, the NBA Tip-Off Show this season, if there's 4 games on the card, we won't be here. We've got plenty of individual videos, big game previews that you guys can check out on the WagerTalk YouTube page, which is why it would help to subscribe. But for all the big cards throughout the week, guys, we will be here for you. So make sure you come back and join us. On behalf of Skee and Andy, guys, best of luck with the plays here tonight. And in fact, if there's a game that you want to see and want to hear a preview of, chances are it's on your screen right now. So click on it and come back and join us again for another edition of the NBA Tip-Off Show. Until then, cash those tickets, guys. We'll see you again soon.